My name is Josh Meadows from Asheville, North Carolina. I remember growing up, when I was 5 years old, my mother and my father got a divorce. It was a hard situation. I remember oftentimes being home alone for hours. My mom was working 3 jobs to try to put food on the table. It was a very humbling experience for a young guy to go through. I remember oftentimes my mother would take us to church every Wednesday, every Sunday. Church became very familiar. God became very familiar. I would go to church, be around everything. I could talk about Jesus. I could name Bible verses. I could speak about stories and parables. But my life did not reflect who God called me to be as His son. I remember thinking to myself that maybe I've got 60 years, maybe I've got 70, maybe I've got 80 years down here on this earth, and I'm spending every moment down here for this one moment where I'm gonna stand face to face in front of this holy God who made the universe, and He's got all these angels and all these people surrounded by these thrones, bowing down, worshiping Him, saying, holy, 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 over and over again. And I'm gonna stand up in front of this God and He's gonna say, Josh, your intentions were great. In your mind, you were holy. In your mind, you were pure. And in your mind, you walked out all of the Christian life. And I realized that is not what it's going to be like. God is not going to say, Josh, well done, good and faithful servant. Your intentions were wonderful. And that was the moment that I began to really understand that it's not about intentions. It's about walking out my faith. And I pray that God will give me the opportunity to go to every kid in America and speak to them and say, look, put down your computers. Put down your Facebook. Pick up your Bible. If I could think of like one word, or if I could come up with one phrase about what it means to serve Jesus wholeheartedly, I would have to say it's the word abandon. I looked up the definition in the dictionary, and it said to give up one's life with the intent of not taking it up again. I thought that was beautiful. Oftentimes people say surrender, and I think of surrender as maybe this big God in heaven putting a gun to your head and making you give up life. But the thing about abandon, it is a willful surrender. It's saying, God, I take this and I have the opportunity to make life about me, but I'm gonna abandon it and give it to you wholeheartedly. Everything, a willful surrender.
I'm not alone. You are my shelter. You are my home. Gonna build my life for you, oh Lord. You are my shelter.
I guess the question that we should ask ourselves is, are we really ready to abandon ourselves completely to Jesus Christ? Let's say that we're outside on this beach, it's 90 degrees, it's really hot, the sun is blistering down. And you see some people in the water and they're kind of casually playing and they're ankle deep. You see other people that maybe they're waist deep. You see other people that, the water's starting to rise up to their necks, and then there's that one crazy person that's willing to just jump in and lose control. Because the deeper you get, the more control that you lose, and that's the same way in our relationships with God, that the deeper we get into our relationship with God, the deeper we get in, as far as our love with Jesus Christ, the more control we lose. Are you willing to give up your life? Are you willing to not live a selfless life? Are you willing to preach the gospel and to be bold? Are you willing to completely abandon yourself to Jesus?
You are my